Hi everyone, welcome back to CapesCornerCreations. Today I wanted to bring you this little project I was working on, making your own twine. It's really simple and really fast. Anytime you want to use a piece maybe for your spine jewelry or to close your journal with, to wrap it around. But I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do it, and also your lengths and your different types of fabric and threads that you can use to do this with. You can pretty much do it with any kind of thread or yarn or cotton or jersey or any kind of material you have in the house. So anyway, before we get started, I just want to remind you that if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You can share and subscribe if you'd like, and if you do, remember to ring that bell so you can see upcoming videos. Okay, so let's get started. So I have here this piece of twine. Let me show you this one here. And for this one, I used, I'm a little close here, I'm going to back up so you can see. This one here, I used, let's see, I used two pieces of yarn, a white and a pink piece of yarn, and one white piece of a cotton material, was an old bed sheet, of course, washed, dried, and ironed, and ripped into strips. So I'm going to show you how to start it and how to finish one. I'm going to do a small one for you, but I just wanted to show you the different materials that I used here. So that was that one. This one here, I used the same white cotton sheet, but I used 3 pieces of yarn. I used pink, blue, and white pieces of yarn, and I used the yarn as one piece. So when you're twisting and making this, the 3 pieces of yarn is really one piece as you work, and you're only working with 2 pieces of material as you go, the yarn and the cotton. Now this one here, I used, oops, let me get my thing untangled here. This one here is how this all started, because I needed a red and white cord for a Christmas album I was working on an album, a journal, pardon me. And so this one I included, you probably can't see it very well, but I did include a little piece of gold embroidering crochet, there it is right here, some gold embroidery thread, you know, that you would maybe make doilies with or such. And I just held on to that with the red piece of cotton and worked that as one, and worked that along with the white piece of sheet. And then I have this one here. I also wanted to show you today how you can continue if you needed to add more material, or if, say you made this and it's a bit short, how you can lengthen it. I know that might be scary, but we're going to do that here with this example over here. So to start with, I'm going to show you, I'm going to grab 2 more pieces. Let's see here. Now I'm going to cut this shorter so you can get the whole picture here. And I'm going to measure this just so you can see what we're starting with. I don't suggest starting with something that's so long that you'll wind up getting tangled up, and that'll take more time to untangle. It's easy enough to just add. So this is about 2 feet long, and I'm going to get your red one. You can cut your material straight. I prefer just, you know, snipping about 1 inch apart and then just tearing it, because the tearing of it gives it that little frayed edge, and as you can see here, it just gets a nice, you know, look about it, a little bit old and tattered. You can run some distressed ink on these. You can make them look a little bit older. You can keep them as they are. And of course, always remember, these are just examples. You can make yours any color of the rainbow that you want to have them. I've also done this with a piece of material and some raffia strips. Now remember, the raffia doesn't give at all, so once it's on there, and if you wrap your cotton nice and tight, it stays nice and snug. Okay, so to begin with, the best way is to just make a knot. So we're just going to bring this over, and we're just going to make a knot, and I pull it up until it's snug, and then I pull both sides really tight. Okay, and then later, if you don't need this, we can cut that down like I did with this one. You know, I trimmed it. Okay, so all you have to do is hold your knot. Now, you have two pieces of material, and your top piece is pretty much your working piece. Your bottom piece is just to cross over, and I'll show you. So how I found it to do it is you just bring it over your index finger twice, and then grab your white piece underneath here and bring it to the top, switch places, always bringing the top piece towards you and the bottom piece away from you, and then you just let go. But you've got that first twist, which doesn't look like much, but then you're going to twist again away from you twice over your finger and bring it across. Let me try that again so you can see better. So you're going to wrap twice and then switch places and just twist it. And as you go, you'd be surprised how fast it goes. And as you move up, make sure that your left hand, or whatever hand that you're holding this with, I know some folks are left-handed, so they might do this in the opposite direction. You know, creep up, hold it, pinching it tight so that it doesn't undo. And as you move along, it goes quite fast. Now, remember, it will get tangled, so that's why I suggest not going too long, because you can always make it longer. Even if you've tied the knot and you thought you had enough, we can undo it and add more, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's just do this one down a little ways so we can add another piece. And of course it's going to tangle on me, and I was doing this earlier and moving like quite fast, and now it's not as fast, but I also don't want to go so fast you can't see what I'm doing. There we go. Now you can add any amount of colors. You know, there's been time, you know, folks used to make rugs and pot holders and, you know, coasters. You can make all kinds of things with this. But for our journals, this is a great way to make twine to use on your journal to make spine jewelry, or like I said, to close your journal. We'll put one on a journal in a little bit here. And I'm just showing you how fast this is. And see on the back here, it's growing right out of my hand. And we're just twisting twice and switching over, twice and switching. And there it goes, and it just goes and goes and goes. Now, I'm going to show you here, because we could do this all day. I'm going to cut this piece here. Now, just to show you how fast we can, and now even if I let go of this, it's not going to untangle. Pretty much stays pretty tight. So, you're best to add a piece when they're not the same length, because you won't have two pieces that are loose. You're only going to have one that's possibly loose, but the way I put them together, I've never had one come apart unless you are really strong and you yank it so hard that it tears, but most every time it doesn't. So we're just going to turn this piece over 1/2 inch and give it a little snip, about 1/4 inch, and do the same with this piece. We're going to fold it over about 1/2 inch, and about 1/4 inch, just give it a little snip. Now, this piece with the hole and this piece with the hole, you're just going to put this one in this one, and if you have trouble with that, you can always use a crochet hook and grab that piece that's on the hook there and pull it through. Now you've got that in there. I don't know if you can see that well, but this piece went through the middle of this piece, this red piece down here in this hand. Now this one up here has the hole in it, so you're going to come to the bottom of your material, and again you're just going to slip that through this piece. Now you're just going to pull that, and then you're going to have a joint like this. So the best way is to take this piece, bring it up to the fold, and then slowly tug it, and a lot of time it goes quite fast, and you can just boom, and there you have it. You can't see the join once you twist, and it's no tails sticking out that are going to be in the way. And if you did cut your snip too long and you might have a tail, you can always trim it at this point and then continue on. But this one is pretty small, you can't really see it, and when we twist it, you'll never see that. So let's move down so that you can see that. I'm just going to take these out too so that we're nice and tight. Oops. It's got to be where your finger is holding. And then turn, and then the red one, and then the white one. And I will tell you when I get to the join so that you can see how that looks. So I hope you're all well. As Christmas is upon us, I know everybody's so busy. I'm in between, projects and working every day. I never thought I'd be this busy, but I am. So I hope you're all good. It's been really freezing the last couple of days here in the south. I'm in Tennessee, and I'm from New England, but I'll tell you, the weather here has been as cold as New England in the last couple of days. It's crazy. And then, a week from now it'll probably be, 70. So you never know what it's going to be like in Tennessee. Okay, so here we go. Now we've gone past the joint, and I just want to show you that little piece is sticking out, see? So sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. And I'm just going to snip that, and there you go. Now, you can, like I said, snip it ahead of time. If you didn't get it quite down, I probably cut it more of a 1/2 inch than 1/4 inch. Now, the other thing you can do to add a piece is to glue it. Now, I'm not a fan of the gluing, but I'm going to try here with this little piece. So to glue, instead of grabbing it like I did with the slipping it into the material, you would just open it, and a good glue like Fabrifix or something that dries quickly, and you just want to put a little bit, if my glue's going to play here, yeah, and we're just going to put a little line in the center of that fabric, and then we're going to put this one right on top, and just press it for a second till it comes through the material, and then just fold it in half. There we go. And again, now I wouldn't yank on this too hard just now because it's not dry, but if you gave it a few minutes it would dry. But I'm going to just keep going because I'm pretty sure that that'll hold, as long as I'm not pulling on it too hard. There we go. So 1 and 2 around and twist. 1 and 2 and twist. 1 and 2. Well, there's our joint. So I'm going to twirl that like 4 times and go around. 1, 2, and twist. And I'm going to twirl that again. That's probably what I didn't do on that last join. Twirl it a few more times, just so that we can get all those things to tuck in there. And there we go. Now I'm going to show you how to add on to this. If you've already stopped and you've tied your knot and you think, oh my goodness, it's too short, how can I make that longer? Well, and the same is the same, you know, like we just did, adding on. You just have to release the knot, untwirl your pieces, and begin again. So I'm going to show you. So let's just say we tied our knot. That's all you have to do is tie a knot on the bottom and pull. Pull that down and tug really hard. That is not going to come undone, no matter, you know, how much is going on. It just doesn't come undone. It would be hard pressed for that to come undone. If you felt that you want to put a drop of glue on there, you can, but be sure that you're done, because once you have glue on it, then you probably won't be able to continue. Now, you could try and undo this knot, which, you know, you probably could if you spent a little time opening that. And there we go. If you wanted to add on, or if you've done it and you cannot get that knot open, you've glued it or whatever, the material isn't going to let you do that, so you would just come back and just snip it off. Okay, so just take it off, unroll your two pieces about 3 inches, 2.5 to 3 inches. Your red one here on top, of course this is where we had the join, but we're going to put another piece on there, and we're going to do it the way I had done the first time, because this one's already got glue on it and I don't want to mess with that again here. So we're going to put a little snip. We're going to add a piece right in there. Let's fold this one in half and get it in there. There we go. And remember, we're going to fold this over, give it a little snip, just like that. Bring the bottom of our material up inside here. Of course, you know, it always goes faster when I'm not on the camera. And then we're just going to pull and pull and pull, and then wiggle this up to the join and give it a good little tug, and there it goes. And there you have it. And the same with the white one now, because now the white one needs a piece. So you see, it's never a problem to take and make it longer and shorter. Shorter would be the same, except before you'd snip the knot off, you would make another knot and then snip below it, and then you can just shorten it that way. So I'm going to just straighten this piece off. I'm going to make a little slit, bring the bottom of my material. It doesn't matter if this is twisted or not, because we're going to twist it anyway, so it doesn't have to be straight. And we just pull through, and that's pulling through on the same piece that it is, and pull them tight together and make your little join, and there you have it. So, and then you're going to pick this up where you left off. We're going to give it a twirl and bring it over, and twirl and over, and twirl and over. This is a great project you can do, you know, just watching TV or, you know, watching YouTube, and you can just go and go and go. Now, if you, like I said, if you wanted to use the other materials, let's try that. So we're going to end this one here, just so that I can show you other things. And we're going to just make our knot and tug. Make sure that's really nice and tight, and then we'll snip that. Oops. There we go. So now we have those. Now, if you wanted to use some yarn, I'm going to show you how to do that. You just have to be a little mindful of the fact that it's thinner and it may tangle, so you may not be able to go as fast as you can with the cotton. Oh, and here the cotton, like I said before, isn't very. It doesn't stretch very much. So when you have this on, it's pretty much on there, and it's not going to give too much. But back here, where I use the jersey, which one is that now? I don't know where it is. Good question. Oh well. Well, if you use them jersey, it will stretch more, but cotton doesn't really stretch. So it might give a little bit, but not too much. All right, we have to take this knot out here. Let's see what I'm doing here. All right, let me grab some yarn. Let's see here. I'm going to grab something that you can see. Well, we'll do white again. And I don't know that I have any green handy. Let's see. I guess not. I should have brought some green yarn in, but that's in another room. But what I have here, I have some blue, not blue, white and tan, like this. And like I said, you want to keep them about the same length or a little bit longer. You don't want to go crazy because the yarn will tangle up. And you can add the yarn by, again, adding yarn to this would simply be taking 2 more pieces. I'm going to show you here. And just simply crossing them over. And you put this one under, come up. And then again, bring this one across and this right side under, and then tug, so that you have really, I'm pulling really, really hard. That is not going anywhere. And then you just come in and you can clip these down really small and, you know, cut these tails off. But we're going to just cut the knot off here so I can continue showing you this part of it. Now you have 2 pieces, 3 pieces, 5 pieces, however many you want to work with. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come around and just make a knot, put them all together, and make a knot. And then we're going to take these 2 pieces. Well, we're going to start with the cotton. We're going to hold the knot, and we're going to twirl the red cotton and bring the yarn over. Now, you can't really twirl the yarn. It's not going to like twirl and it's not going to hold. So you just bring it forward. And then again, you're going to twirl the cotton. So bring it tight, make sure it's tight, and bring it forward, and bring the red around. You can twirl it because it tightens in here. It kind of pulls it down a little bit and brings it over, but it's not going to have the effect like the cotton. So, and you just work your left hand onto the strip so that it holds it while you go. Every single piece, every single like stitch that you make, you bring your thumb and your forefinger up to hold on to it, to pinch it so that it doesn't move, and you just work it over and over again. Like I said, you can use yarn, cotton, jersey, any fibers that you may have. And you know, if you don't have a material, I have piles of material, and I would say half of it comes from things in the house. Old clothes, my husband's shirts. You know, I use part of his shirts, not all, but you know, anything that still look brand new. I save all the buttons, and I cut them in, I wash them, iron them, cut them in strips, and you can use them for quilt making and journal making. Now see, there you have it. Now this piece you wouldn't think would hold together, and I'm going to set it down and let go of it, and you see it doesn't like unspiral. It stays together like the others. As long as you have enough, you know, 4 or 5 inches made, it pretty much stays that way. Now again, if you needed to be more yarn, you would just tie them together pull a knot, and then just trim off your excess. With the fabric, you remember you can either glue two pieces together, like here, and then fold it, and then continue. Or you can make the little half-inch folds on either side, snip them, and then you run this one through this one, and then you run the bottom of your project fabric into the top of this one, and then you just pull and tight. And we can do that one more time to show you. Let's see. Well, we'll cut this one in half, and that fold, you have two pieces, and you just fold it over and give a little snip, and fold it over the other piece and give it a little snip, and you're going to put your new piece into your existing piece, pull it up, and then go to the bottom of that new piece and bring it up through itself at the top, and then you're just going to give it a little tug, bring it through that hole so you can see how the two are coming together, and you just give it a little tug, and there you have it. You have your knot, and you just keep twisting away. Now you can make any color, like I said, any fabrics, as long as you're careful and you're mindful of not getting ahead of yourself and making it so long. It's much better to add on than it is to have a 5-foot piece and then you're in a tangled knot. So you don't want to do that, because trust me, I've been there, done that, not fun. So you don't want to get yourself in a bind. So I hope you like these twines. Oh, and the other thing is you can add, bells on here, and beads, all kinds of dangly things on here. You can dress them any way that you see fit and that gives it life on your journal, and have fun with it. It's easy, fast, and really you can make so many. And I did one more thing. I did use small thin amounts of fabric, 1-inch strips. Now with the yarn, because this yarn was pretty thin, I mean it's a 4-weight yarn, but it's thin in comparison to the material. So if you wanted a fatter rope, then cut your material wider. I wouldn't say to go crazy wide, because it would take so much more time to wind it. So I would suggest up to 2 inches. And then you could always, if you wanted it again bigger, make several of these, take them all together, and like so, tie them in a knot again, and then you could braid them. I'm going to show you here. If you tie them in a knot like that, and then you could braid them to make even a longer piece of cord. And you don't, have to worry about that coming undone either, because once you've got that braid in there, it's not going anywhere. So yeah, and just again remember that you're mindful of your strings so that you don't get yourself in a knot. So every couple of turns, maybe pull them out like so. Pull one out. If you pull one out, they'll all come undone and you won't get in a tangle. But then if you braid them, you have a much bigger cord. So you could take, 3 cords and braid them, or just keep it to 1, or you can use 2 to see how that looks. So I'm just going to undo this for you before I go, and we're going to put that on a journal just so you can see how that looks. And then you can start tearing material or digging in your yarn basket, or but you have to use the cotton with the yarn. The yarn itself is very thin, so that wouldn't be a great idea to do on its own. You can do it, but I'm just saying, for me it doesn't work. Let's see here. Oops. Oh, here we go. This is a big journal. I couldn't get it out of the the thing here. Well, let me see if I can get this camera up a little bit. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Now, this is a big journal, but this cord is not made for this particular journal, but I'm just going to do this so you can see here. And I'm going to bring it around, twist it like a couple of times, and then tuck those cords. Oh, well, that didn't work. How did I do this? Oh, tie it first. And then I twisted it, and then you just tuck and tuck. There you go. But you can tie it any which way you want. You know, you can make a bow, whatever works for you. And there you have it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned how to make twine if you hadn't done it before. I know many of you have, but for some new folks who've never done this before, it's a good way to have your kids or grandkids helping you do that. Now, these videos are made for adults, I do have to say, but it's always a good project if you need to keep little hands busy. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, a share, and a subscribe. And if you do subscribe, remember to ring the bell so you can see my upcoming videos. And be sure to stop in my Etsy shop, because right now all my items are on sale until December 24th. And you'll find that link below. So thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.